New Twitter.
Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for Geek Pride's Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. Tonight we have the usual faces. We've got Michael as Tharval.
Evening, everyone.
We've got Wes as Valishal Nostius.
Hey, everyone.
We have Dave as Thomas Moonstar.
Evening all.
We have Mark as Lance. And we have Pete as Draken.
Good evening.
Right, okay, so had an interesting one last session. You got out of the sort of crypt in Falcross. 3 of the infected villagers escaped. You managed to chase them down. One of them being Casper, and for those of you who have been watching us for long periods of time, Casper is a little boy who they saved many moons ago, who pops up now and again. And turns out that he was one of the infected people, and unfortunately, Lance trying to hit him with the non-pointy end. Hit him with the pointy end, and so he got injured and had to be sort of healed. Then Casper ran out. Casper ran out and was very upset with the fact that these guys were sort of these so-called heroes were stabbing his father and stuff. But he managed to sort of persuade him that what was going on. So all of them. And the 3 sort of villagers are being taken to Graben's house for potentially a ritual. So they're basically making their way to his domicile. Right. So you're making your way north to the site where Graben's house is. What's his first name?
Adrian.
Adrian Graben. That's right. Adrian Graben. As you sort of you come to the door, you can see a lot of very worried soldiers who sort of come running up to you, looking very sort of slightly annoyed and perplexed as to why you're there and where the rest of their friends are. So where's your bodyguard? Where's your bodyguard gone to?
They're sleeping off an unfortunate dose of attempted poisoning.
You poisoned them?
Nope. Someone tried to poison us and they got in the way. Turns out we're a little bit more robust than they are.
Where are they?
They're in town recovering from the attempted poisoning.
As they sort of kind of as he sort of one of them's talking to you, the sort of kind of sergeant sort of speaks to one of the men, sort of kind of go off to the babbling bat and try and retrieve the rest of the bodyguard, or it wouldn't be a bodyguard, it would be an escort, I guess. So to get your escort. Now let me get it out. So you sort of knock on the door, and Adrian Graben sort of, because so did you do it? Did you get them?
We got them.
Thomas?
No, who are these 3? Who are these 3?
These poor souls are villagers who also got mixed up in a ritual and have found themselves infected.
Oh my.
We are hoping that you can work your abilities on all of us.
Biogma's scepter. This is not good. Come in then, I guess. Come in. So you make your way into the into his house, and he says, did you get the ingredients?
We have. So I will hand over the Dreamfur extract and the essence of the progenitor, and also the vial with the 2 tadpoles. Explain how and where we got those as well.
He says, he sort of looks at it, he says, is that it? You not get more?
This was all we could get in such a short time.
It's sort of, says, this is not good. This is not good. Right. I don't know if I don't think I've got enough for everybody. Give me a minute, I'm gonna have to make some calculations. So he takes himself off to his desk and starts sort of kind of scribbling and looking through his notes. He comes back shortly and says, with what you have, I can potentially, with some risk, disinfect 2 of you. All 5 of you means I have to make some substitutions and some alterations, and that can be quite dangerous.
And the 3 villagers have been infected in the last 24 hours. Will they need as long and as strong a process as the 2 elves with us who have been infected for longer?
Maybe not. It's not. You know, I've only done this a few times. You know, everybody's died. You know, there's only been a couple of people who've made it. So I don't know.
I guess
What
it's
happens
as
if
good a
it-
time to find out as any.
What happens if we've got some more ingredients?
He says, how long have you and the elf, the other elf, the elf, how long have you been infected for? What period of time?
Not long, is it? About a
Not
week,
long.
maybe?
If that, less, I think.
Yeah, just...
Less than a week.
He says, you 2, and has anything has anything strange happened? Is there any sort of weird things happened between them? Have they been?
Has anything strange happened? Strange has been happening for the past 6 months.
I mean,
We specialise in strange.
yes. He sort of kind of gives you a sort of a sort of kind of look with a sort of a sort of, what's the word,
There was one time I tried to punch out the
derisory sort of
shark.
kind of like smirk, but he sort of kind of says, I mean, have you been under control by somebody who is not you?
Regularly.
They appear to have been experiencing some emotional connections to the
hive
to
mind.
the to the creatures when we kill them.
Oh, I just realised Michael's disappeared. Is he off Discord?
Yes,
Yeah,
he had some issues
his-
with his connection.
dude.
Oh, okay. All right. He's like, this is not good. You
Still doesn't last.
in the long and the short of it is, the longer you 2 wait, the more chance it is you will turn into an Ithiad.
Okay, so
Well, Illithid, is that what they call it? Illithid.
Illithid, yeah.
Illithid.
So
He says, so basically, you have some decisions to make between you. It's already a dangerous ritual that I cannot one, do on my own, and two, do with confidence. But with these ingredients for 5 people, I just don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do it. And if you go and you get more ingredients, I don't know how long that's going to take, and you could turn, and that could be the end of this island.
From a risk management point of view,
to the
if we
party
were to-
aside, if we just look at Tharavol and Draken now,
yes,
heal them, get them, hopefully, de-illithidated, and then leg it out, get some more to sort out the other 3 villagers who have got
Yes.
potentially a bit longer.
yes. From a risk management point of view, we need to deal with
The closest
issues
crocodile.
to them. Well, the issues to the
Closest
2 that
crocodile.
have the longest risk, and also hopefully stop them from trying to shoot us in the back, brain us, etc., in the middle of a fight. When
Again.
we kill one of our enemies, because that could be a little bit distracting. I don't know if you've noticed, Thomas.
Yeah, I got the point.
Regularly.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, so what you've missed? Do you hear? So basically, there's not enough. There's not enough of the ingredients to go around. It's already a pretty dangerous. Already a dangerous sort of ritual, and he's not sure if you getting more things now is going to be a good thing, because you could turn at any moment. So they've basically said, do you try and sort you 2 out and then come back with deal with the other 3 afterwards? So it's something you need to sort of kind of discuss with yourselves.
Makes sense. Get 2 done now.
Yeah.
Then go and get some more ingredients and sort the villagers out.
I'm
Yep.
much happier looking for illithid pieces when I don't have to worry about you or Tharabolt stabbing me from behind.
And the other thing is, if we go out and get more, we'll have a bit more time. We won't be as rushed. We could potentially get more for him to stockpile.
Well, bear in mind, you need mind flayers for these things, and you need the tadpoles.
We've got
And
2
we
of
need
those.
members of our
You've got
party
2,
not
which
to
you're-
suddenly
you're-
decide we've killed their best friends.
You're
Use them
gonna,
like a compass.
you're going to use. So it's these things currently being sort of they're sort of being trying to infiltrate, but if you've already seen them off twice.
However, if Tharavol and Draken are de-tadpoled, they might not know we're coming.
Yes, because they lose the connection.
Yep.
Okay.
Of course, it does mean that they can't help us find them, but
I think it's a risk worth taking.
how many underground caverns can there be?
Okay, but also
You
sort
have
of
to ask that out loud.
so it's completely up to you how you want to do this and stuff. Yeah, you've got to sort of decide on it. You can sort of I guess the advantages of having it still against the risk of it sort of turning is that you have an inside sort of connection to what you're dealing with, which could be helpful.
Or,
In
and hear me out here,
Yeah.
cure Tharavol and Draken, and then we take one of the villagers with us as a compass.
I would rather not take that risk.
Because they wouldn't come back in one piece.
That too. But can I just remind you, we're supposed to be the good guys.
I know.
Yeah, you don't want to end up with the leaflets flying around. So you're talking about some bandits in the area. Turns out to be you.
I'm happy chasing wanted posters. I'm not so happy being the subject.
Okay, so by all means, if there's any other thoughts and stuff around it, hash it out between yourselves now. But if you're all agreed that's what you want to do, then we'll go forward with that.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
get ourselves started.
Okay, so
And
that is a unanimous, no dissension.
Nope.
Because the civilians were only affected, was it an hour or so ago?
Yeah, a couple of hours ago.
Yeah. So
Whereas
they've got
you
more
were a
time.
couple of days. Yeah.
Yeah.
That being
Okay.
said, they are just civilians. They don't have high constitutions and stuff like yourselves and magic powers.
That we
and
know
stuff.
about.
Yeah, well, so
All I've got to say is Ukrainian farmers.
yes, okay, very true.
Okay, so
So,
Would
I'll
our friend know anything about a way to maybe put them in some sort of stasis or slumbering condition that would slow down the progress?
or
yeah, you can knock them out.
And Leia says,
Or-
"Do not
well-
use villagers as cannon fodder."
Jack, you
About
can knock them out.
cannonballs,
Don't
if we
worry.
scratch them up really carefully.
yeah, I mean not necessarily for him to put them under, but just if they were put under in any way, would that slow it down?
He sort of kind of has a ponder and goes back and sort of to his books and thinks about it, and he says he could use some of the ingredients you've got to basically make the parasite catatonic for a small period of time. But that would obviously take away from the amount that's needed for the.
No, but I mean, if
The
if the hosts were unconscious, would that slow anything down?
He says no. If anything, it would speed it up because they've got no conscious mind to fight against the invader.
Fair enough. Keep them awake. Turn the heating off.
Or we just have them surrounded by a whole load of people, giving them like lots of encouragement to up their constitution, and you can do it.
Yeah. Be stronger. Think strong.
You can do it.
So, yeah. So your options currently are you can use the ingredients for a risky procedure, but not super risky, for the two of you, and come back later and try and get some more for the three villagers. You can try and sort of make these parasites, slightly less vigorous with their burrowing into these people's minds by using some of the ingredients you have for your ritual, which makes it slightly more dangerous. Or you can try and heal everybody, which is going to be more dangerous.
I think the risk is too great.
I think the problem is if we try and, at this point in time, we're better off making sure that we sort out our two long-term patients and then try and race off and recover the materials for the three villagers.
That makes the
Rather
most
than
sense to
trying
me.
to compromise it and wasting those materials if it's unsuccessful.
Okay, and you're not using anything to sort of ease their sort of pain, as it were. You're just going to use everything for you two. There is no right or wrong answer, by the way. I'm just
No,
Yeah.
I just want to sort of
think-
confirm on what you're doing.
From where I'm standing, the problem we have is the more that we put into pushing the villagers' falling period further down the line, the greater the chance we're wasting the rest of it if we're unsuccessful in helping Draken and Saraville to recover.
Okay.
And so at that point, that becomes a zero-sum thing where we've achieved very little, but we've pissed away all the stuff we've got.
Okay. All right. So what's your decision?
So I'll step up and explain that we are going to treat the most chronic cases first, being Tharavol and Draken. If there's any left over once those 2 are healed, feel free to use it on the villagers. However, once the 2 are healed, we can then go off and find more ingredients, working faster and more collaboratively with less chance of anybody turning into something we don't want. Yes.
Okay.
Less chance of calamari.
He sort of
And
kind of
if I can be of any assistance in the ritual, please let me know. I will do everything I can.
he sort of looks at you, sort of scratches his beard, and he sort of kind of pats you on the shoulder and says, "That's maybe the best course of action. There are a fair few soldiers around here. We can sort of keep these civilians under lock and key for a while." As he's sort of kind of saying that, what was it, Annabella? Was that what we're called? Annabella?
think so.
You called
Think so,
her.
yeah. Annabelle
Smith.
Yeah, Annabelle Smith. So Annabelle Smith, she's just like, oh, that's right. Her and her. Actually, Annabelle Smith was the woman who you talked to.
Oh, she was the. Yeah, she was. Yeah.
It was the milkmaid. It was the milkmaid who.
The milkmaid.
Yeah, it was the milk. Birth woman. Let me just.
Was it Mildred? Was she the milkmaid?
Sounds a very milkmaid-esque
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
familiar.
She was the one I cast slow on that we had to catch up,
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
her running away. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Mildred.
Yeah. Okay. So she's just like, excuse me, sir, but I feel fine. I just want to get back to my husband and the farm.
And we'll do everything we can to make that possible. But for all that you feel fine, you're not fine, I'm afraid.
She sort of kind of starts to weep slightly, and sort of slumps down in one of the chairs, as Casper's father sort of kind of limps over to her and sort of kind of gives her, says, "That's all right, girl. Don't worry about it. These men sort of they'll make sure you're okay. They'll make sure that we're okay. Isn't that right?"
We're doing everything we can to make sure that this will not cause you any more problems. We just have to be very careful because we are dealing with a problem that is quite widespread, and we are trying to make sure that you don't get caught underfoot, so to speak, or trampled in while it's trying to achieve things that are not good for you.
She sort of kind of sobs and nods her head, and okay, so right, so Graben basically turns to you all and says, right, so we best go now. We're not going to do the ritual here. It's too dangerous. We're going to have to go somewhere else. Let's go to the sort of the woods in the north. There's an old altar we can use there. And he sort of kind of says, "Grab your things. We best go."
Yeah, I'll look around at my companions, nod, grab my pack, and follow Adrian out the hut.
Why do we need an altar?
Because it's a ritual.
Yes, and
And we're sacrificing tadpoles.
Sometimes the trappings and the belief help to make the success.
Are you saying this to him, by the way, or are you just sort of...
That's
No,
what I'm
no,
saying
actually-
to him.
yeah, Jacken is just going.
Yeah.
Why do we need an altar?
He says,
Sometimes
it's
the
It's a
concept
magic.
of belief
It's magic.
makes
he says,
Yeah.
Master Dragon
It's
Ball,"
magic.
he says, "how many rituals to extract cannibalistic, mind-altering tadpoles have you done in your life?
Myself, a few. Mostly with an axe.
Yes, and how has that
That's
come
not
up?
extracting, that's bisecting. You need to work on that.
Well, I can't say that I have been extremely successful, but I have experience in this, and an altar is needed. So you can come with me if you want. If not, I'll take one of these poor buggers with me instead. It's up to you.
I'll look to Draken and say, think of it more as a prop than any other use you could think of.
If notes that actually answered the question.
It works as a focal point for the ritual.
Okay.
Part of this is that he has to believe it's going to work, Draken. If he needs to do it at an altar, and it reduces the chance of you having that worm crawling around inside your head, I'd say that's a winner, right?
I'd rather we had someone who didn't need a crutch, but that's all we got.
We could just chop your head off if you want, and we can root around in there and see if we can find it.
Like I said, Dragonborn, you don't have to come with us. I would prefer you because you're dangerous. But if this is an issue for you, then again we can choose one of these poor blighters instead.
You'll know when I'm dangerous.
I will hold up my component pouch and say, most of my spells require some physical manifestation to make the spell work.
Okay. I'm just curious, but okay.
He sort of shakes his head and sort of says, right, this way. And he sort of takes you out into the forest. So... bonk.
As we're walking on the trails, I drop back and I quietly say to Draken, when you're casting spells, you need an axe to make sure that it works. He just needs an altar.
You make magic with an axe. It's a wand.
Right, okay. Let's see if we can got any sort of spelly type. What do we got here?
Oh, I've got this.
That playing? Oh, it is.
Hmm.
This. Yeah. Interesting. Thought that would be better than it was. It's not. Yeah. It's... forest. Oh. Oh no, that's our sort of epic battle music. Okay. Right. So, ritual. Okay, so he takes you forward into this sort of kind of clearing where there's a what looks like quite an old looking ruined sort of temple of some sort, potentially a temple to Marduk or to Bahamut that was destroyed during the Cairelian Civil War. Within is a sort of kind of quite a large circular altar. that he has sort of placed a lot of candles and incense and different sort of totems around. He says, we will need to do this one by one, and I may need your help, Thomas.
I will nod, and I suggest that we take Tharavel first. That way, my Dragonborn friend can watch the procedure and understand how safe it is before he undergoes it himself.
Okay,
So
so
no one trust me.
that again.
Can't we just give him a glass of milk?
Say no one trust me.
As you're doing this, the guards come through the trees and basically demand what's going on, and you know, long story short, you sort of explain the situation and stuff, and they sort of.
I turn around and explain very sternly they need to stay quiet.
Yep.
And if they're very good, we'll take away their reason to be there, and they can go back to doing some boring guard work back at the city.
Yeah.
Or they can argue, and I can sit them down.
Slightly cowed, they sort of kind of the captain of the guard sort of blusters a bit, and then sort of kind of nods to his men who sort of kind of surround the glade as you sort of make yourself in. He basically says, right, so I need you, Tharavel, is it, to stand in the center of the circle.
Tharavel moves his pack and his bow and all his belongings, and he sort of hands them over to Cerebel. Gives him a sort of grin of confidence and taps him on the shoulder, and then sort of skips into the center of the circle.
He says he's just like, you will need to take this, and he sort of passes you a pullet. He says, when I tell you, you need to eat this, and he says, after that point, you will feel. You may feel strange. You may see some things. But you need to hold on to reality. You need to stay with who you are and who is here. If you get lost in there, then you are dead, my friend.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
All right. So he sort of he hands you the pullet, and he says, right, Thomas, my boy, you need to stand over there, please. He sort of kind of points to the opposite side of the he stands to the opposite side of the the circle.
Okay. Okay.
And he says, sorry. Before that, he sort of kind of, you hear a voice in your head that tells you to go across to the other side. It sounds like Graben's voice, like he's communicating you through your mind.
Nice. I will try and catch his eye and then start walking over.
As you sort of walk through, he says, through my mind, our minds will try and prevent any subversion of this warrior's mind. We must stop it from taking him. If he goes, he's dead. And he will instantly turn into a mind flayer, and then we're in a lot of trouble.
I will think back the words, I will do whatever is needed to save my friends. And hope he heard me.
He nods his head, and says, "Well, let us begin. Okay, Tharaval, take it now."
So Tharaval takes one last glance over towards Thomas,
I
just
nod back.
knowing that his life is in his hands. Gives him a nod of recognition. He shuts his eyes, and he thinks of all of where he's come from and all the people that are dear to him. He thinks back to his village, his father, his mother, and his brother. Takes a deep breath and ingests the pullet.
Nothing initially starts to happen when you take the pullet. As you're sort of kind of eating it, Graben and Thomas start to chant. The chant that you're saying, Thomas, is something that seems to be sort of kind of directing through you from him, but it seems so sort of kind of natural, and as if it's coming from your own lips. He then picks up one of the sort of tadpoles and casts it into a sort of bluish flame in the center of the circle beside Tharaval. Tharaval, sort of kind of looking down at this, sort of gets hit by this sort of blinding light, and sort of shakes his head. As he does so, he sort of opens his eyes up. Everything is quiet, and he is sitting in the cellar of the Babbling Bat. In front of him is Gylus.
Tharaval recognizes this as what he believes is to be a memory that he's obviously held on to, that he's not been particularly proud of, but still feels that he did the right thing. It was either Gylus or his friends. It was a no-win scenario. He lost either way.
Gylus looks at you and says, "Brother," and that is you are my brother. I have not been good to you. I have not deserved your family's love. But I do not deserve this. I do not deserve what you are about to do to me. I see the hate in your eyes. I see what you are about to do to me. But please, for your brother's sake, for my sake, I saved your father. I saved your brother. You owe me. Please do not kill me.
You're right, Gylus. You have saved members of my family. In my absence, if I were there, I would have done the same thing. But I also have another family who travel with me. And you tried to kill them. Family isn't just about blood. It's the people who encourage you, and you tried to kill them, and you tried to kill me. Not on numerous occasions. I can give you chance after chance to try and redeem yourself, but when it comes down to it, you do only what suits yourself. If came to the choice of my brother or your life, I believe you would lose his over yours, and that's not a risk I can take.
Roll.
I do not regret. Sorry, I do not regret my decision.
Roll me a Let me just check something here, first. What? So, what does wisdom? Wisdom's for what?
Intuition and
Perception, worldly wise.
And then intelligence is for.
Intelligence is for investigation, thinking, working out.
Okay, give me a wisdom throw. Give me a wisdom save.
Doesn't seem to have done anything. Oh, there we go. Mine's
Okay.
being very, very slow for some reason.
Okay. Right. This is to see if he gets the advantage or not. So Thomas, I need you to give me a intelligence.
Oh dear.
No. Okay. So you see in a sort of very haze, sort of smoky sort of way, this scene in front of you. It's one that you yourself are familiar with, having been there at the time. You see a shade of your former self standing, looking at the situation as it's going on. You see Tharaval with his head against Gylus's head. You get distracted by the whole thing and you stop chanting. You hear sort of like grabbing through your mind, swearing and getting very agitated because you're not doing what you're meant to be doing. He tries to sort of get you back into focus. Tharaval, as you sort of kind of say those words, Gylus sort of closes his eyes and before you know it, he closes his eyes and says, "I understand." What was it? Rial? Was Rial your original name?
Yeah.
I understand, Rial. But you are wrong. As he sort of grabs a knife from the side of your thing and stabs you in the neck.
Question.
Yeah.
With the nature what we learned about the nature of my construction and the damage that changed my class, is there a chance that I might be able to affect this somehow or be affected by it?
Interesting. Okay.
With my long affinity with Thomas, with Tharaval as well.
So let's see. Arguably, Val could potentially help with prayer.
Okay.
But you're not in this thing. You don't know what's going on.
Inside his own
I'm
head.
just wondering
yeah.
if it's all magic that's affecting things, and I'm basically built around a slightly cracked, magic-filled vessel of crystal. Maybe if I was resonating to it, that was all.
It is something you could think about, but because this first one's already taking part, it might be something you can do to help Draken? Because I'm assuming you're thinking this as this is going on, but obviously as
I'm just wondering, like out loud, whether or not I might get dragged into this by virtue of me being a poorly and slightly damaged and slapped back together creation wrapped around a vial full of life essence and magic.
I'll ponder it. I might throw it in. I'll see. Okay, so yeah, so he basically stabs you in the neck. Give me a death save.
What's the death saves? Death save.
Ooh, okay. As sort of he sticks it into your neck, but it sort of goes through. You sort of kind of shirk away from it as if something happened, but you realize it's not real. As this happens, the visage that was sort of guileless disappears. Another sort of kind of light sort of flashes forward, and you are you're standing in front of oh fuck, what's her name? You're standing
Aubrey?
in front of Aubrey, and it's just after the moment where you and Lance had the fight in the wood, and she it's when you first meet her. She sort of kind of walks up beside you both, and sort of and laughs and basically says, I've watched you from afar, and I have no idea why you silly rangers are fighting, but I believe we have more pressing things to do. Maybe we should go.
Am I still there at this point?
You do sort of kind of come along with this. Your Grabbing has got you back to chanting more.
Okay.
Lance, as you can give me a what will it be? What will it be? Give me a Constitution? Would it be Constitution? Something sort of because it's within you. Would it be an Arcana?
Probably Arcana.
Give me an Arcana.
If it's magic-y.
Yeah, give us an Arcana.
It's gonna hurt.
Okay.
Could have been worse.
Okay. So yeah, you while you're standing watching the thing, you get a quick glimpse or a like a flash of the wooded area that you met Tharaval. You get a bit of a sort of a small glimpse of what's happening, but it sort of quickly fades and disappears. It makes you feel slightly odd and nauseous, but it's gone. Val, I will let you.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you pray if you want to try and aid this ritual if you wish.
Okay.
So, what are you going to pray about?
I'm going to ask for the protection of my companions and a hasty recovery from whatever is gonna come from this ritual.
Okay, give me a religion check. Okay, so you sort of kind of kneel down. You get out your banner and you place Holy Avenger on it, and you stick your father's spear in the ground. As you do this, you sort of seem to channel this sort of glowing radiant light that sort of starts to surround Tharaval in the middle of the middle of the altar. That gives you an inspiration point, Tharaval, for your next rolls.
Ooh. You're welcome.
And enough for your brother.
Okay, so so you're in this sort of wood. Augury's turned up, and she's like, "So shall we go?" She sort of smiles at you, and you get this sort of sense of, this is somebody who you had very strong feelings for. You've just recently lost, who in her sort of her last moments effectively saved your life, and is leading you on in an adventure where you first met her.
Having sort of deep feelings, not sort of really knowing the context of what's happening, but being aware that the last vision wasn't real. He's sort of conflicted as to whether to follow what he trusts in this moment in time. It's in this scenario, there's from what he remembers, it was it led to many sort of happy things. It was the first time he met Lance, if it was not slightly comical, but yeah, a friend that he made. And Augury, at this point, he has a sort of sense of excitement on seeing her for the first time. It's nice that he's had a chance to relive that moment.
Roll me a wisdom save.
God.
Are you using your inspiration? You're gonna let it go?
Yeah, I'll do inspiration.
Does he get advantage with all of us kind of peeking in and trying to support him?
You got a 7 on both of them, so it doesn't really matter.
I know, I mean for the reroll.
I get.
God.
Okay, so you feel, currently the chanting and stuff is to give him advantage. So that's why Thomas is there and stuff. So currently, you get this sort of feeling of, as much as this isn't real, or you're feeling that it's not real, the idea of being able to relive these moments before her death and before the death of some of your friends is, fills your heart with warmth. You feel very sort of strong and happy, something you've not felt for a long time. You feel happiness as you start to walk off with Augury. She turns around to you and says, Augury's the name, and who might you be?
Tharaval's sort of a little bit besotted, just with this sort of amazing presence in front of him. He's just sort of a little bit lost for words. It takes him a few seconds to sort of think and realize that she's asked a question, and he sort of stutteringly ends up saying, my name is Tharaval. It is a great pleasure to meet you, Augury.
And it is mine too, Tharaval. I'm sure we will have many great adventures together. She sort of has this very, as that sort of her perfume sort of wafts past your nose, and the smile that you know quite well sort of just fills your heart with this sort of kind of strong warmth. Roll me another death save.
So am I keeping track of these death saves?
Well, you've passed one. As long as you don't get 3, you're all right.
But the first one's a crit, so it passes 2, does it not?
Yeah. So, yep.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay, so that's 1 against. Okay.
I should save the inspiration for.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Okay, so all right, you sort of start walking along, and it seems like you feel like you're going through this all again. You make your way. You've got all the banter and all the conversations that you had. You feel all the moments that you had as you make your way towards Balon when you first met these two friends of yours. As you're sort of making your way through the forest, and as you're making your way through Belmore, and then Kyrelia, you stop off in places. You have sort of little adventures as you make your way to Balon. You start to feel strongly for this woman. You know, she tells you things that, you know, she tells you things about her past, about her dream walking, about her dreams, about this mysterious warrior. You know that it isn't you, but you want to believe that you can change her mind to love you instead of Val. You know, you sort of, as much as you love Val, you've got this sort of kind of slight sense of jealousy going on within you. This could be the moment that you could change things. That, you know, that she would love you for you, and that she wouldn't be dead, and then maybe you could go somewhere else together. She Lance sort of kind of walks off into starts to walk off into the sort of kind of this sort of tavern, one of the sort of kind of villages you're in Kyrelia. Lance, you can give me another Arcana. Okay. You get another sort of jolt as the you get another jolt as sort of whatever energy is pushing through Thomas and Graben sort of kind of hits your sort of kind of your power self, or your crystal, for all that's sake, and you find yourself in your body in a very familiar place.
I spin around, just trying to get myself oriented and see if I recognize anyone.
Yeah, you see Tharaval talking with a smile on his face to Augury, as she's sort of, you know, touching his shoulder and sort of gently being very friendly to him. You remember this moment quite well. You sort of, as much as you were sort of at the time, as much as you were sort of not oblivious to it, but it didn't, two creatures sort of flirting with each other didn't really have any effect on what you wanted to do and needed, so you just ignored it. But you are aware how, as time has gone on, how Tharaval felt, and you see this happening in front of you, and it doesn't sort of sit right with you.
I turn and I walk over to them, and I call Tharaval's name as I approach to get his attention.
Tharaval, give me another wisdom.
My God.
Okay. You don't hear anything. You are completely locked into your conversation with Augury. Something different happens this time round. She turns to you and says, I love you, Tharaval. She says, I love you, Tharaval. I will always be here for you. You need to stay with me. Me and you can be together forever. We can stay away from all of this death and this hate. We can be one together. You just need to come with me.
I start to run, moving faster, as I realise he's not recognising me or registering me.
Roll me another Arcana. As you sort of kind of run towards Tharaval, you sort of like you get jolted back into the clearing of the forest. Tharaval, give me another death save. That's a fail, isn't it?
10 or above, 11 or above is a pass.
Okay, yep.
I think 10 or above is a pass.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
50-50, isn't it?
Right, so you, as she says this to you, you realize that this isn't real. You realize this can't be. She would never happen because she loves Valashul. She loved you as a person, but she's in love with Val, and you know this deep down in your heart, and this, whatever this is, isn't real. It comes flowing back. All the real feelings just hit you as you sort of kind of stand back, and Augury sort of looks at you and it's just like, well, what is it, my love?
The last words that she sort of said in this sort of scenario, they've just met, and this seems like he sort of stops, although he's holding her hand, and he stops walking, and she sort of moves on, and as their arms extend, she sort of turns and looks at him. He looks her in the eyes, and he looks down at her hand, and says, I know this isn't real. I know this is just what my heart wants, what it's always wanted. But you're not here anymore. You died. I watched you die. I can't change what has already happened. And although I have and always will have a deep love for you, I know will never be returned, and it never was. Not for what I was expecting or hoping for. This may not be what I want, but it's what I have to do. He lets go of her hand and turns around to walk away.
She says, Tharaval, please, don't leave me. Don't leave me.
I never did leave you. You left me.
Wow, powerful. Okay, so as you say that, this sort of sickness sort of emanates from your stomach, rises up, your head starts to sort of kind of thump, as you sort of open your eyes and you wake up in the center of the altar. As you do so, you vomit this black sort of bile, and the sort of kind of tadpole that was within you sort of kind of gets ejected from your body, and it lies on the ground, making sort of kind of like shrieking noises. You look up and you see your friend. You see Val kneeling down in prayer. You see Draken sort of kind of looking intently at the situation in front of you, and you see Thomas and Lance and Graben sort of kind of the two wizards sort of chanting as you sort of kind of come to.
The Xaravel he's fallen to the ground. His body aches. All the wounds that he's sort of acquired over the years, they seem to be pulsing in pain and agony. But most of all, his mind hurts. His heart hurts. The reality of what he experienced was it felt like it was real. So he feels like he has killed somebody and turned his back on his only love, all within the matter of moments. He falls to the ground and starts to weep.
Okay.
I walk over to him and I kneel down and put my hand on his shoulder and just say, she wasn't real. It was maybe something you wanted, but it was being used to stop you from staying where you are and where you're needed.
Graben.
I'll also walk in and kneel, say to Tharavel, "That was necessary pain, my friend. It's over now. We did it. You're cured. We can move on."
Graben sort of shouts at you, "Boy, get the tadpole for it escapes."
I will. Does he want it alive?
Use that tadpole as resources.
And he says, "Yes, get it."
Okay, I will
Draken
grab it.
grabs
pick
it. Draken grabs it.
Give me a dexterity.
Okay.
With advantage because I'm grabbing it too.
Yeah. Okay, so you manage to grab it and you sort of kind of push it into one of your sort of vials as it sort of starts hissing and screeching as you do so. Graben goes, "It worked. Bloody worked. How do you feel, my boy?" As he sort of kind of looks at Tharavel. I'm assuming you feel slightly disorientated and a bit not about it. Just understand, none of that was real. This is real. We are real. This is real.
I understand that, Doctor. It didn't stop it feeling any less real. What may have been, I don't know how long that has been for you here, but that could have been an eternity of emotion for me, all within a few moments. I may be out of this, but Draken still has to experience this. So we're not done yet.
That's very, very good. Yes. you may exit the circle, please. Dragonborn. Heat's gone off. He's back. You there?
He's back. Just putting his ears in.
Putting his ears in. Dragonborn. My boy, you're next.
Yes.
Into the circle with you.
As you wish.
As Draken takes his place in the circle, Thomas looks at him and says, "Just remember, whatever you see, none of this is real until you wake up back with us."
No.
Tharaval approaches him, sort of still sort of disorientated and a bit sort of disheveled. He puts one hand on the Dragonborn's shoulder, and he sort of taps him on the head and says, "Don't use this." And he puts his hand on his chest, where his heart is, and says, "Use this."
Understand.
Okay.
See you on the other side.
So he Graben sort of gives you his last sort of pollet and says, like Tharaval, you need to take this when I tell you, and hopefully, Ogma being blessed, you will come out the other side cured. Good luck.
Look, it's nothing to do with it. Let's do it.
Okay, so Draken sort of kind of just walks into the circle, and Thomas and Graben start to chant again. Val, do you want to give me another?
I will pray again for him. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You can. Okay. So you can have an inspiration point to spend on one of the rolls.
Ooh.
You can, if you have any previously, you can't use it. So you can have this one reroll, basically.
I've used it a few weeks ago, so yeah, I was uninspired.
Okay. So he says, "Okay, Dragonborn, take it now."
Okay,
Ogma speed.
Draken gets the vial, stounced in one, burps, and just looks around going,
Okay.
"So what happens next?"
Again, the as you do so, the Graben sort of kind of takes the mind flare tabful and throws it onto the fire of the onto the fire in front of you. This blinding light hits you. You sort of stumble, and as you sort of can regain consciousness, you wake up, and you're in you're in a sort of kind of sea village. You're a child. You're small. You're young. Not that you're quite young anyway, but as for a dragon, but you're quite young.
Much younger.
You're much younger. You see around you orphans that you recognize from your time in the reservations. But this isn't the reservation. This is what's the name of the city? Oh God, I don't remember. What was the name of the?
The nearby city that Draken used to visit.
Yes, what was the name of it? Bear with me 1 minute. It was called... Oh, I don't have it on here. Oh, how annoying. What was the name of it? What was it called? It's basically the village. It was the sort of kind of the harbour that you and you used to go to.
Yeah.
Fuck. What's it called? Anyway, right. So you recognize the place. It's somewhere where you grew up. It's in fact, this is the moment. You see a little boy getting bullied. by a bigger boy, a local boy. He's sort of bullying him for being different, for being a filthy lizard.
Okay. Is Draken aware this is just a mindscape?
Well, you are. Well, you give me a wisdom. Give me a wisdom check.
Okay. Given that this has happened a fair bit to Draken.
Give me a wisdom.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you recognize it, but you're aware that this isn't.
No.
This isn't real. As much as you can see yourself in your body, you don't feel like the child that you are. You feel like you are.
Okay.
The bully sort of pushes over the young child and starts to sort of rifle through his pockets.
Okay.
And starts to. Are you not going to do anything? Bear in mind, this was your backstory. This is your backstory.
Yeah, this is Draken's backstory, but he's also going, well, I don't interfere with this because he's not familiar with mindscapes. So, and this isn't real, so he's just standing back. I mean, he can't really do much because, and he just went for the ritual to finish. He doesn't know what he has to do. So
Okay.
he's just going good.
All right, fair dues. Okay, so the boy he basically starts to beat. He steals from him, and then he starts to
Draken now
kick him when
walks
he does.
over. Draken now does walk over.
The bigger boy, he's bigger than you. He sort of looks at you and says, "Oh, it's another one of these filthy lizards. What are you doing here? What are you going to do about it?"
You are going to get out of my head, and you're going to leave, aren't you?
Says, "Out of your head. You're out of your head, you idiot," he says, and he pushes you. Says, "I tell you what, you and these filth can leave my town, or else you're all in trouble."
Or else what? You and whose army? I don't need you anymore. I fight much bigger bullies than little shits like you.
Okay, he
I've had bigger shits than you. I wipe your shit off my arse every day. That is how little I think of you.
Oh, he sort of smirks, and throws a punch, sort of connects to your face, knocking you down slightly. He's a lot bigger than you.
Yeah, could he actually do a... Does he need to do like a hit-to-hit, or is it...
No, he just hits you.
I've been hit.
You've been hit, and
By
you
shit.
feel the pain
Right.
in your face. You see dark blood sort of kind of in your hand as you reach up to
You know what happened to the last person that did that?
What is that? What last person, little lizard?
Last person never survived. That last person, they're still finding the body parts.
He sort of laughs and says, "Oh, murderers are you? Just like the rest of you scum. That's just what I thought."
No, we don't start fights. But we always finish them, unlike fearful little shits like you that go running between their dad's legs to suck their mother's shit off their dad's cock. I apologise. That's what 18, didn't it?
Okay. Wow. I was trying to. Okay. Wow. Wow. That escalated quickly. Right. So, roll me a death save.
Death save. Okay. Oh crap! Right, where's death saves again? I don't have to read it. Actually, where are death saves?
It says it's got
Oh,
successes.
yeah,
on
found
it.
it. Yeah, I see it now. I'm gonna roll. Oh, hell yes!
You as you sort of kind of say the words, you sort of you break out of, you know, you're not taken in by any of this. This rubbish. You know this is real, this is fake, and you know you're being taunted by what's in your head as you lash out and you sort of punch the bully to the ground as he falls down. As you do, you see the eruption of the other dragonborn beside you, all the orphans and stuff, you know, chanting your name, the foundation of your legend, as you take out your first bully. You sort of, as you sort of kind of tower over this little boy, you seem to grow in stature. You are who you are now. You are this warrior that is beside you. This little boy starts to cower behind and starts to sort of kind of crawl back. Please don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me.
Draken just advances towards him. Would you have done that to me? Would you have done that to them? Would you have done that before? It's only when you finally meet someone capable of standing up to you that you finally know fear.
He says, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, don't hurt me.
And what did you do when others begged for their lives? Begged for the pain to stop? Begged for the fear to stop? What did you do? Tell me. Tell me now.
Yeah. He sort
keeps advancing.
He gets very. He starts to sort of cry and sobs mercilessly. He doesn't answer your question.
Yeah. See, you are a little shit. You just shit yourself.
Okay. You leaving it at that?
Now you are gonna get out of my head, out of my life, and you will never, ever, ever do this again. Otherwise you will know pain, you will know fear, and then you will know death. And that death will be me. Or me.
You suddenly sort of you hear sort of a large hiss coming from the little boy, and then you suddenly appear as you your eyes sort of kind of close and you open them again, and you are in the you're in another sort of port village. This is in Balon. You know this place. You've been here before. In front of you is Galandra, with Huthway's bane sort of raised above her head, about to strike down an unarmed foe in front of you.
Okay. Draken George's axe and blocks the blow.
Galandra sort of looks at you with sort of anger in her eyes. Said, I can't do a Danny voice. He must die. He must die. He will kill us all. Draken, we have to kill him.
We do not kill unarmed people. That is, we do not do.
Roll me a wisdom.
Okay. Please be good. Yes.
Okay. I was going to throw in a Thomas bit there, but you don't need it. Okay. Okay. So you you go again along the same argument. Instead of sort of veering off, you go along the same argument you had with her about how that you don't kill unarmed people. That, you know, it's the coward's way, that even if he was a foe, that to kill him would be to lose a part of ourselves. As you do so, the same thing happens. Galandra does it anyway, and she kills the mind mage in front of you. As she does, as Huthway's Bane goes through the chest of the mind mage, you feel this deep sort of kind of pain in your chest. Roll me a death save.
I'm gonna roll a 1 now, aren't I? Right.
Oh, another. It's not a nat 20, unfortunately, but that's another. It's another pass. Yep. Okay. So
That's 3.
say it again. Oh, is that
That's
3?
3.
Because you got a pass. Okay, yeah. So as that's right, because you got a crit. Okay. So your final sort of you kind of shake your head as, you know, the memories of that moment sort of disappears. You find yourself once more looking upon your father as he advances into the gates of Camber Ford.
Red Bay.
Yeah, as he advances into the fort of Camber Ford. He sort of kind of looks at you and starts to sort of kind of cleave people surrounding him.
Okay, Draken goes in to stop him.
Okay. Roll me an attack.
Does rage and everything work in here?
Yes. Just roll me a
Okay,
attack.
Draken's going to rage. Also, the rage makes me much easier to resist.
Okay. Okay, so it's a miss. Hit me, throw it again. Your next one.
Okay.
Yep. Your first swing sort of kind of glances off his heavy plate armor, but the second one comes back. As you do, you basically cleave his his deformed hand from his side, and it sort of kind of falls down with the axe in it. He looks at you with this sort of look of shock, like he wouldn't expect. Why would you have done this to him? And he says, "But I am your father," and he sort of
No thought of mine. I am Draken.
throw me your last hit.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you an advantage. You say, "You're not my father," and you lodge the axe into his head. As he
And for good measure, breathe fire into it as well.
Yeah. So you sort of lodge the axe into his head and sort of erupt with this sort of rageful fire as you sort of kind of breathe it all over him. As you do so, you feel this sort of there's a slight sort of twinge going up from your brain. You feel sort of like this headache, but because you're within this sort of rageful state, it doesn't seem to affect you as much. You sort of open your eyes again, and you're within the glade. In front of you is one of the mind flare tadpoles caught aflame.
Okay.
As you stand there, with your axe in
Draken
your hands.
Draken grabs it with one of his hands and holds the flaming tadpole.
It
Make sure it doesn't get away.
you sort of it holds it in your hand as it sort of kind of cremates within your fingers and sort of falls off your claw.
I am Draken, and I will never bow to no man or creature or gods.
You sort
And
of
Draken just throws the ash down.
as you sort of kind of do it, Graben sort of is completely overjoyed by this. 2 in a row! We did it! We did it, my boy! He goes up to sort of kind of Thomas. He said, "We did it, my boy! We did it!"
Well, I will grin back at Adrian and say, "We have done this stage. We have 3 more to save."
The jubilation at 2 being successful is somewhat perturbing.
You have to understand, this is unheard of. You know, there's been the survival rate of this is none. Nobody has survived this.
You tell us.
Nobody has survived this.
We knew that.
This was all theoretical, and it happened. Both of them gone.
Good.
Says I will need to talk to both of you. I will need copious notes on everything that you've seen, heard, and what happened.
Okay.
And I suggest we wait until the others are healed to give us time to rest, recuperate, and head out to get the rest of your ingredients. At which point you can then quiz all 5 of them.
And it was Haven. That was the village.
Haven. That was
the dump pot.
Yeah, that's it. So he looks at you, Thomas, and says, he doesn't say it, you hear it in the back of your head, "Just like your mother." And you sort of, it goes into your brain and it's very confusing. It didn't come from his brain, like didn't come from his mouth. You hear this sort of in the back of your head.
I put my hand on his shoulder and look him sternly in the eye and say, "You knew my mother?"
We need to go. We've got to make sure that he says, "Oh yeah, we've got to go," as he starts to sort of kind of try and walk off.
Okay, I let him go, but as he walks away, I think in his direction that this is not over.
You don't hear a reply, but you feel some sort of emotion, sort of partially joy, but partial shame as well. Right. Okay. So is anybody doing anything or saying anything before we sort of kind of leave the glade?
Not before we leave the glade, but I think we do need to have a bit of a resting session at the hut before we move on.
Okay. Right. So you all sort of make your way back. The guard, the guards see what's happened. They see that the process has been successful. Are you asking them to stick around, or are you going to let them go?
I think they need to stick around and keep an eye on the villagers, stop them wandering off, at least for the next day or so, until we can get back with the ingredients again.
Okay.
Contain the threat.
I know this is not what they signed on for, but this is at least a continuation of their given mission.
Okay, give me a persuasion roll.
With advantage.
Ah, yeah.
I can loom if necessary.
At least I got advantage. It's all good.
Yeah, they're a bit sort of iffy about it because obviously they're, it's not their job to be looking after peasant farmers and stuff, but they sort of understand, and some leave, but 10 of them stick around.
Okay.
Okay. Ceravel sort of kind of goes up to Tharaval and sort of sees that he's looking a bit worse for the wears and says, "Are you all right, brother? You need my help."
There's nothing you can do for me, brother. I had to really relive some hard choices and some nasty memories, for which you've forgiven me for already. That is help all that I need. Your understanding. I just need to rest.
He says, "We will have drinks together. We will toast the memory of our fallen friends and loved ones when we get back." Okay, so you sort of make your way back to the dwelling. Graben says to you, "You'll need to." He says, "You need to find the other things, the stuff, the things that sort of to get so we can do this again to help these people here. Be off with you now. I've had enough of you for now. Please leave, but come back whenever you've got the ingredients, and we'll finish off the thing."
So we'll look over to him and say, "We will return, and we will conclude all of our business."
He sort of shies away from your glance and sort of nods his head and sort of ushers you out of his house and closes the door.
Thomas, is there anything you wanted to tell us?
All in good time, my friend. When there
Very well.
are no ears around.
That could take a while.
Right. Okay. So you make your way, but are you going straight back to Taunt? Are you sticking around in Falcross for a bit? What are you doing?
What time of day is it?
It's going to be late evening, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't think travelling at night to Taunt is the best idea in our current state.
I think we should take some lodgings and rest. Especially two of us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you make your way back to the Babbling Bat, and you get some rooms gratis, as you can stay there for free, and you go to sleep. Tharaval and or you do what you need to do to sort of kind of rest. Tharaval and Ceravel sort of go downstairs and have a few drinks to sort of toast the memory of their lost loved ones.
Tharaval looks over to. He obviously remembers the Babbling Bat from where he killed Gylus, and he looks over to the area to which it actually happened, sort of deep in thought. He looks at Ceravel and he raises his glass, and he says, "To your friend Gylus, may he be in a better place."
Ceravel says, "And to Augury, may she be with you always."
As was
Tharavel
happening,
smiles.
As they're making that toast, I walk down the stairs and walk over to sit with them. And I look at Tharavel and say, I know I wasn't there for all of it, but I was there for some of it. And that was not easy for you. I understand that. And I'm sorry I couldn't help more.
You did more than you think, Warforged. You always have.
It's been quite a walk we've had, one way or another, since that day.
It's as I thought to agree. There's different definitions of family. There's blood family, and he looks at Ceravel. And then there's the people who are there to help you, who support you in your darkest times. So you are family. You're all our family.
Val, what are you doing at this
Yeah.
moment in time?
Coughing. No.
Eating.
You can,
Um,
by the way, you can, obviously he's mentioned augury and stuff, or at least Ceravel has and stuff. You can sort of question it or say a piece on it.
I don't really want to poke a wound, so to speak.
You don't have to poke a wound. I don't know. It's up to you how you feel Valashil would feel about the moment, or I think deep down you knew Tharavel had feelings for her, but 100% that she loved you. So
Yeah, but I don't think that now would be the best time for Val to really say anything on augury or that matter, and kind of just let Tharavel have his moment. Maybe another time.
all right. Are you saying anything else? Are you drinking with them, or are you just going back upstairs?
I'm gonna go and rest because I'm low on HP. It's been a long few days.
Okay. Anybody else got anything to say before we end?
Draken is just feeling very tired.
As is Thomas.
He's just. There's been a lot of violence in his life. He's starting to feel his violence is the only way. And kind of the events that he's just kind of experienced again. Those kind of family moments. It's kind of think about that. There's a lot of blood and violence in his which has dominated his life. So he's just thinking on it a bit more.
Okay. Right, gents. Very good. Very good. We will leave it there then for tonight. There's no point in carrying on. It's nearly 10:30. You said you needed to go soon, Mark, anyway, so good timing. But yeah, that was enjoyed that. Some very heartfelt moments. So very amusing. But,
And overall, unusually good dice rolls.
yes, yes. So very good.
Yeah.
I honestly
Marriage.
thought we were going to get a few more squeaky bum moments, but yeah, you powered through it very quickly. So there we go. So yes, yeah, we'll do that for tonight. Is it next week you're not here, Dave, or is it?
No,
week
it's
after?
2 weeks. I'm here next week.
Okay, so next week, we will. I'm just trying to think because we kind of want to work on. So we've got 2 weeks that you're not here. So wait a minute. Let me just check my diary here. So you're not here on the 1st, is it? Yeah.
Not yet. The first I can't do.
Yeah, first you can't do. Okay, so technically that's when the battle is meant to begin, but we may be able to postpone it a week, or we can maybe do it on a different day. We'll figure that out at some other point and stuff. Okay, but basically next week's just going to be planning. Next week's just going to be
Okay.
planning for how we're going to deal with Kimerath, decisions about who's going where, who's doing what objectives, and we'll do some rolls on manpower, boats, things like that to sort of kind of deal with it. And then come 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time, we will advance onto our destinies, and hopefully come out the other side.
Level 12.
Yeah. Come on.
Sorry.
Level 12, yeah. Right. So, cheers, everybody. Thank you very much, Adelina. Thank you very much for watching again. Much appreciated for all the comments. And it's been very good. For me, I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Tharavel. Michael is Tharavel, sorry.
Hi, Rob.
Wes is Volashil Nostius.
Not everyone.
Dave is Thomas Moonstar.
Seems my mother has a past after all.
Mark is Lance.
Good evening, Dungeoneers.
And Pete is Dragon.
Night, everyone, and take care of each other.